All right, let's dive into some blog SEO today,
Ooh, sounds fun.
but with a twist. Remember that article you sent me? The one from Now Technology Systems.
Oh, yeah, the Aussie web design company?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
They're giving us their take on SEO, you know?
Getting our blogs noticed on Google.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be interesting to see how they approach things down under.
Yeah. It's almost like a different SEO culture or something, you know?
Right. And they start off with this analogy. They compare a blog without SEO to a hidden shop in Melbourne.
Oh, I like that.
Nobody wants their hard work to be a secret, right?
Absolutely not.
So how do we get people through the door? What do they say?
Keyword research.
Keyword research, but
They call it a road trip.
a road trip. Gotta love those Aussies, eh?
Yeah, they definitely have a way with words.
Okay, so they break down keyword selection into three things: relevance, volume, and competition.
Yeah, it's like finding that sweet spot.
Yeah, that Goldilocks zone. Not too much, not too little. And they suggest some tools too, like Google Keyword Planner.
And Uber suggests.
Do you use those much?
Oh, yeah, all the time. They're great for, getting a sense of the trends and seeing who you're up against.
Cool. Okay, so let's move on to the content itself. Now, Technology Systems reminds us that Aussies love a good yarn. So how do we spin a tale that Google will love, huh?
Well, it comes down to creating something valuable, right? They mention originality.
Just the basics.
Oh, absolutely.
What else makes content, really engaging, in your opinion?
I think it's about solving problems. Like, what are your readers struggling with? What questions are they asking? And then you answer them.
Yeah, okay. And readability, too, right? Keeping things clear and concise.
Yeah. Short paragraphs, bullet points. People don't want to wade through a wall of text.
Makes sense. All right, next up is something that can sound a bit intimidating.
Meta tags.
Meta tags. Now, Technology Systems calls them signposts for Google. I kind of like that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
They focus on title tags and meta descriptions. Are those still as important as people say?
Definitely. The title tag is like your headline, right? It
Right.
tells everyone what your page is about.
Yeah.
And it's the first thing they see in search results.
And now Technology Systems reminds us about the character limits. 60 for titles and 160 for descriptions.
Yeah, you don't want to get cut off.
No, absolutely not. And they even suggest sneaking in a call to action.
Oh, yeah, a little nudge to get people to, learn more.
Right. Like read more
Or discover the secrets.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about internal and external links.
All about community.
Now, Technology Systems compares internal linking to browsing a shop.
So you're keeping people on your website, exploring different things.
And external linking is like
Neighborly care.
neighborly care.
Ooh.
Yeah. So internal links are those links within your own website connecting different pages and posts.
Exactly. It helps users discover more of your stuff.
Yeah.
And it shows Google how it's all connected.
Got it. And external links are those that go to other websites.
Yeah, like you're recommending something.
Right. Providing more resources, showing you're part of a bigger online community.
Exactly. And for SEO, it shows Google you're referencing good sources,
Now, Technology Systems also mentions using external links that support Australian standards. What do you make of that?
I think it's a good point. Like, you should always think about your target audience. Who are you trying to reach? And make sure your links are relevant to them.
So if you're targeting Australians, you should link to Australian websites.
Yeah, or sources that they would find trustworthy.
Interesting. Okay, I think we need to take a little break here, and then we'll come back. And
Wait, we can't stop yet.
Oh, why not?
There's still so much more to talk about. This article is packed with good stuff.
Oh, you're right. I got carried away. Okay, what's next?
Now, Technology Systems, they talk about images, needing a bit of SEO love. And it reminded me of that time I tried to upload a photo to my site and took ages to load.
Oh, yeah. Images can be tricky.
File was huge.
Images can really make or break a blog post.
Totally.
They make things look good, but we don't want them to slow the site down.
Right.
The article talks about image optimization. Is that like resizing and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's part of it. But they also talk about
Yep.
alt text and file names.
Ah, those are important.
Yeah, a lot of people forget about them.
I know alt text is for accessibility, right?
Yeah, for people who use screen readers.
So they can understand what's in the image.
Exactly. It makes your content more inclusive, but Google uses it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to understand the image and factor that into your SEO.
Huh. Interesting. And file names. I have to admit, mine are usually just a random jumble of letters and numbers.
Oh, I know. It's so easy to just leave the default.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you use keywords in your file names, it can help Google understand what the image is about.
So instead of IMG 1234, I should use something more descriptive.
Yeah, like if it's a picture of the Sydney Opera House at sunset, you could call it Sydney Opera House sunset.jpg.
Okay, I can see how that makes sense.
It's all about those little details.
Making things easy for Google to find.
And for you when you're looking for it later.
That's true. Okay, so now technology systems also brought up website speed.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial.
They actually compared a slow website to waiting for a Sunday roast.
Oh, the horror. Nobody wants to wait that long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially these days when everything's so fast-paced. They suggest things like image optimization, which we already talked about, caching plugins.
And using a CDN.
A CDN? What's a CDN?
Content Delivery Network. It's basically a way to make your website load faster for people all over the world.
Oh, how does that work?
Well, instead of all your website data coming from one server, say in Sydney,
Right.
it's coming from multiple servers closer to whoever is visiting your website.
So if someone in London is trying to access my blog, it'll load faster because the data is coming from a server closer to London.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm going to have to learn more about that.
Yeah, it's a game changer for sure.
Okay, so moving on. Now, technology systems also mentioned keeping content fresh. They compared it to a fresh coat of paint, which I like.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah. But we all have busy lives, right? How are we supposed to keep updating everything?
Well, they suggested adding new information, stats, or case studies.
Oh, okay. What about like repurposing older content, like turning a blog post into a video or something?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I've been wanting to try video, but it seems a bit intimidating.
I know what you mean, but it's worth it.
Is video SEO the same as optimizing blog posts?
It's similar, but there are some differences.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can talk about that another time.
Yeah, definitely.
So back to updating content. Any other tips?
Well, I like to create content clusters. So instead of just updating one post,
Right.
you create a whole series of posts that dive deeper into different aspects of the topic.
So instead of just refreshing one room, I'm giving my whole house a makeover.
Exactly. Keeps things interesting for your readers and shows Google that you really know your stuff.
That's a great way to look at it. Okay, now remember how technology systems kept emphasizing their focus on Australian businesses.
Yeah.
They talk about local SEO, and I'm curious how that applies to bloggers.
That's a good question. You'd think if you're trying to reach a global audience, local SEO wouldn't be as important.
All right.
But even then, highlighting your location can give your content a unique flavor.
So if my blog is about vegan recipes and I'm based in Perth, I could do a post about vegan-friendly restaurants in Perth.
Exactly. People visiting Perth would find that super helpful.
And it could attract Australian readers who are looking for local recommendations.
Exactly. It makes your content stand out.
Makes sense. Okay, so they mentioned using Australian standards for external links. What do they mean by that?
I think it's about making sure your links are, relevant and trustworthy for Australians.
So if I'm writing about financial advice, I should link to Australian government websites or financial institutions that operate in Australia.
Yeah, something like that. Provide your audience with the best information.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, earlier we talked about keyword research, finding that sweet spot. But how do we actually come up with those keywords?
That's a good question. I think it helps to put yourself in your reader's shoes. What are they searching
What were their problems?
Yeah, exactly. So if you're writing about sustainable living, what are people typing into Google?
Like how to reduce plastic waste or best eco-friendly cleaning products.
Exactly. And then you can use those tools we talked about, like Google Keyword Planner.
To see how popular those keywords are.
Yeah, and how much competition there is.
Okay, I get it. Now, what about social media? I know it's important for SEO, but...
It can be a bit overwhelming.
Yeah. Where does it fit into everything?
Well, social media and SEO are definitely connected.
So it's not just about sharing links to my blog posts on social media.
No, it's about engaging with people, building a community.
Oh, okay. So what should I be doing?
Share behind-the-scenes stuff, ask questions, maybe do a live Q&A.
Ooh, I like that idea. And I've heard that when people share my content on social media, it can help my SEO.
Absolutely. Those social signals are important for Google.
So it all kind of works together.
Exactly. It's a cycle. Good content leads to shares, which boosts SEO, which brings more traffic.
I like that. Okay, I have one more question. I've heard people talking about Google understanding user intent.
Oh, yeah.
What does that even mean?
It means Google is getting better at figuring out what people are really looking for.
So not just matching keywords, but understanding the why behind the search.
Exactly. Someone searching for best hiking boots might be looking for reviews or buying guides.
Or maybe they just want to see pictures of different hiking boots.
Right. Google wants to figure out their intent to give them the most relevant results.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we make sure our content aligns with user intent?
Well, you have to think about the questions your audience is asking.
There are problems.
Yeah, what are they hoping to achieve? And then create content that answers those questions.
So instead of just writing a general post about hiking, I should write specific guides on choosing hiking boots or finding trails near Melbourne.
Exactly. The more specific, the better.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. I need to be a mind reader for my audience.
Kinda, yeah.
All right, what else do we need to cover? Okay, phew, I feel like we've covered so much ground already.
We have. This deep dive has been intense.
It has, but it's not over yet. What else should our listeners be thinking about?
Well, now technology systems, they kept bringing up the whole Australian angle on SEO.
Yeah, for businesses down under.
Right.
Do you think bloggers should be thinking about that too? Even if they're not, like, specifically targeting an Australian audience?
I do.
Really, why?
I think it's a good reminder that SEO isn't just about following some generic checklist. It's about understanding your audience, their culture, their search habits,
Right.
tailoring your approach.
So even if I'm writing about something global, like minimalist fashion, I could still incorporate stuff that resonates with Australian readers.
Absolutely. You can mention Australian brands or talk about how minimalism aligns with Australian values.
Sustainability and practicality.
Exactly.
Or like adding a local flavor.
Yeah, exactly. Makes your content more relatable, more interesting.
Okay, I'm convinced.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, sometimes SEO feels like this giant, never-ending to-do list.
Oh, tell me about it.
What should bloggers be prioritizing? What are the most important things?
Well, at the end of the day, it always comes back to creating good content that people actually want to read.
So it's not just about keywords and backlinks. It's about creating something like genuinely awesome.
Yeah, because Google's getting smarter.
Oh, yeah. They're always changing things up.
And they're starting to prioritize websites that offer a good user experience.
Makes sense. I mean, I know if a website is confusing or the content is boring, I'm out of there.
Exactly. And Google can tell if people are bouncing off your site or if they're sticking around.
So they're looking at how long people stay on my site.
Yep. And whether they're clicking on other pages, sharing your stuff on social media.
It's like they're watching everything.
Pretty much.
So it's not enough to just tick all the SEO boxes. You actually have to create a website that people enjoy.
That's the key. That's where your passion, your unique voice comes in.
It's not just about gaming the system. It's about actually connecting with people.
Exactly. And when you focus on that, the SEO will follow naturally.
Okay. I like that. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
SEO is a journey. It's constantly changing.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
Just stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to experiment a little.
And if you need help, especially with that Aussie twist, now Technology Systems seems like a great resource.
Yeah, they really know their stuff.
All right, everyone, that's our deep dive into blog SEO Aussie style. We hope you learned a few things.
Go forth and optimize.
Until next time, happy blogging.